The United Empire of Varin-Hi was one that had made its rapid expanse across the galaxies. This was made possible through their advanced technology that gave rise to vast fleets of spacecrafts that can easily navigate through star systems. The military ships are armed with some of the finest weaponry in the universe that give them unmatched prowess in space warfare. Indeed, they prefer to settle disputes with any opposing forces remotely from the comfort of their heavily armed vessels. But every now and then, they would have to face their foes on the planetary surface, and to the Varim, this was considered matter most inelegant and undignified. This is a battle report for a game of OnePageRules Grimdark Future, played using 1000-point lists adhering to force organization. I play the DAO Union while my opponent plays the Dwarf Guilds. Here is my list. The one hero in this army is the support engineer, using the grunt leader profile. They are caster 2 and equipped with a limited gun drone. There is a combined unit of 10 spotters, all equipped with pulse carbines. 2 of them carry spotting lasers that can give a boost to hit rolls for friendly units shooting. One of them is upgraded with a shield drone that give the unit stealth, and also an inhibitor drone that slows down an enemy unit by 3 inches when it charges at them. They can be deployed as scouts. Then we have 2 combined units of grunt squads. The first is Infantry Squad Eagle, where all models are equipped with pulse carbines. One model is upgraded with a shield drone, so the unit gets stealth. The second is Infantry Squad Raven. These guys are equipped with short-range pulse shotguns, save 2 models that have smart missiles. These can fire long-ranged, indirect shots. The intention is that while Squad Eagle presses the attack, Raven will provide support fire from behind cover. For my opponent's list, the platoon of dwarves will be led by Uthar Grudgebearer, a dwarf champion succeeding the long historical line of the Grudgebearer family, presumably. He is also caster 2, so he has access to the dwarven spells. He is attached to his squad of Hyperion Grudge Guards, a combined unit of dwarf warriors. The unit is equipped with long-range rifles, apart from 2 models that are upgraded with rail rifles with higher AP. One of them have recently passed their first aid training, so the whole unit gets regeneration. Next we have a unit of berserkers who are unsurprisingly furious and fearless. They are cyber augmented, so they get regeneration. We then have 2 identical dwarf trikes of the Tri-Explore Scout class variant. They are tough 6 with fast and scout. They are armed with a variety of guns that can fire a total of 6 AP1 shots. Finally, there is a heavier Tri-Explore Attack class vehicle that is also tough 6 and fast, but also Strider, meaning it can ignore difficult terrain. It is equipped with quad attack machine gun that can fire 8 AP1 shots. We play this game on a 3x4 foot board, with 9-inch deployment zones due to the small army size. The buildings and the pipe stacks are treated as impassable, line-of-sight blocking terrain. The centre area is treated as difficult terrain. Units can shoot into and above this, but the target receives cover bonus. Furthermore, the craters themselves are treated as dangerous terrain. With a roll of 2 on a d3, 4 objective markers are placed on the board. The dwarves win the roll-off for board edge selection and initiative, so they deploy first. The dwarves will deploy the 2 scout trikes as scouts. while the DAO Union will have the 1 unit of spotters as scout. Uthar leads his grudge guards forward behind one of the forward deployed trikes. He attempts to cast Battle Rune to boost the speed for both his squad and the berserkers, but the spellcasting fails. The guards fire their guns at the spotters. 4 shots hit and take down 3 of the enemy scouts. The spotters react quickly and successfully marks the closest trike with a spotting laser. They immediately take advantage of the assisted targeting and fire their pulse carbines at the trike. The rain of flashing pulse rounds hits hard against the scout vehicle and inflicts 4 wounds. The driver passes his morale test and grips the steering handle with determination. The berserkers rush forward in their natural speed and end up adjacent to a building. The support engineer peeks out from behind the pipes to survey the battlefield and decides to hold position, accumulating his caster points. The damaged trike moves forward towards the spotters and returns fire. Since it didn't manage to close enough distance, the spotter's shield drone disrupts the trike's targeting system, and the gunner only manages to hit once, taking out just 1 spotter. Squad Raven holds position and commences artillery fire. A barrage of smart missiles fly out of the 2 turret points, and they dart toward the second trike. With some decent dice rolls, 5 missiles meet the target and cause 3 wounds. The trike fails its morale test and becomes shaken, but immediately spends an activation to restore its determination. Meanwhile, Squad Eagle advances forward to reinforce the spotters and finishes off the other trike with a salvo of pulse fire. The Dwarven attack vehicle pops out of cover and takes aim at the spotters. The quad attack machine guns spit out streams of bullets. Despite the negative effects of stealth and terrain cover, the vehicle does much better than the destroyed trike, as 5 rounds hit, taking down 3 more models. The remaining spotters defy their poor quality and pass their morale test. At the end of the round, the DAO army gain control of objectives 1 and 3, while the dwarves claim objectives 2 and 4. The spotters advance towards the centre. They manage to mark the remaining dwarf trike with one of the spotting lasers, and they proceed to fire their carbines at Uthar and his squad. They hit 3 times and the dwarf warriors fail to make any of the defense saves or the regeneration saves, and lose 3 models. Uthar advances his squad a little further forward and chants with focus. This time the spellcasting succeeds and the battle rune goes off. The dwarf warriors and the berserkers become enchanted with increased speed. The warriors once again fire at the spotters. Disturbed by stealth, their shots fly wide of the target, except one that takes out a single spotter. This time the spotters fail their morale test, and they become shaken. Squad Raven resumes its indirect attack on the remaining trike. With enhanced targeting from the spotting laser, the smart missiles mercilessly finish off the light dwarven vehicle. The heavier attack vehicle moves forward to the centre, with its anti-grav repulsors allowing it to tread the difficult terrain with ease. It attempts to finish the spotters, but despite getting close enough to negate stealth, the abysmal dice rolls yield a single hit, which the spotters manage to save. Squad Eagle moves forward and fires at the attack vehicle. Despite hitting 10 times, the cover of the terrain and the tougher armour only allows for a single wound to come through. The hastened berserkers leap out from behind the building and charge at the spotters, who are finally finished off. If only they had something to prevent units from charging at them.
And also an inhibitor drone that slows down an enemy unit by 3 inches when it charges at them.
Well, it turns out there was, but I forgot about it, didn't I?
You Burke.
The support engineer sees the enemy breaking through the line, closing in on Squad Eagle, and calls upon support airstrike. He successfully casts Devastating Strike, dealing 8 hits against the Berserkers. After the smoke clears, the Berserkers stand, losing only one model.
NANI?!
At the end of the round, the DAO lose control over Objective 3, and the Dwarves gain an advantage. Having gained the initiative, the Berserkers seize the opportunity to engage Squad Eagle in melee. With a furious flurry of blade attacks, the Dwarves cut down 5 enemy grunts. Having skipped their karate classes, the DAO infantry struggle to land a hit against their assailants, but manage to remove 1 Berserker. Squad Eagle fails its morale test, and having lost half of the squad, the survivors are routed. As pressure mounts, Squad Raven decides to abandon their safe space to face the enemy. 2 of the grunts gain visibility of the Berserkers to shoot with their pulse shotguns. The smart missiles are also fired at them, albeit the -1 modifier to hit, for shooting indirect weapons after moving. Together they take out 2 Berserkers. Despite failing his morale test initially, the lone surviving Berserker makes a recovery with his fearless reroll. The attack vehicle moves around the difficult terrain to target the support engineer. The quad attack machine guns discharge a hail of high velocity rounds that brutally take out the lone engineer. Uthar and his grudge guards spot the advance of Squad Raven and lay down suppressing fire to halt them. However, the salvo from their rifles fails to damage the target, with just a single round hitting one of the enemy's armour before bouncing off the plate. At the end of the round, the objective control remains as per the end of the previous round, with the Dwarves maintaining the lead. The last troops of the DAO force carry on to face the enemy, despite their dire predicament. They direct the smart missiles at the last Berserker, while 6 of the grunts target the attack vehicle with their shotguns. Having accomplished his duty, the Berserker smiles in acceptance of his fate as the smart missiles rain down on him. The pulse rounds fired upon the attack vehicle inflict 1 wound, falling short of forcing a morale test. The attack vehicle then moves closer to Squad Raven and fires back with its machine guns, taking out 4 models. Uthar rushes his unit forward and calls one of his grudge guards to raise a banner to assert their force's dominance. With that, the game comes to a close, ending with a resounding victory for the Dwarves, who score 3-1 at the end of the final round. What a great game! In the first 2 rounds, the Dwarves had lost both trikes, while they managed to take out the spotters, only after focusing all their attacks on them, so it looked like the DAO army had the advantage. But the table turned so quickly when the engineer's devastating strike failed to hinder the Berserker's advance, leaving Squad Eagle helplessly vulnerable in the next round. In hindsight, the spotters should have targeted the Berserkers in their final activation, rather than shooting at Uthar's warriors. With fewer models and lower defense, the Berserkers would have suffered more, and it would have had a greater impact. This would have been the case even if I had remembered the spotters having that inhibitor drone. Anyway, another fun game played.